Next thing, 4.4, the annual dropout report. Barbara, for last year, 2015, 2016. Thank you, ladies.
Our dropouts report, oops. Can you all see that? I started at 2012 up to the current year, 2016. As you can see, we have had a tremendous decline in our dropout rates over the past few years. We had 9 from the Pohai this past year and 9 from our alternative schools, which include Share, Teen Pep, and Wildcat Academy. And we had no dropouts at East and West. And last year, I think someone asked about the 2 dropouts that we had at East Middle School. And those typically are students that moved to another state, and the parents failed to notify us where they were going. And so we have to count them as dropouts then when we don't have any information telling us where those students are currently in school. If they were in the state of Oklahoma, we would pick those up through the WAVE, but obviously those 2 had moved or relocated out of the state of Oklahoma. Any questions?
Is that it?
That's
Okay.
it.
You're up for the next one, too. Let me read it. Let me get my glasses on. I wasn't expecting that to be so fast. Okay, 4.5, Alternative Education Plan.
Oops, I don't want that. Okay, our Wildcat Academy this past year currently has 89 students, and this was maybe a week ago when I prepared this. They had 53 graduates between Teen Pep and Wildcat Academy. I'm sorry, that was just Wildcat Academy for last year. They have had 4 graduates to date. They attend school 5 hours and 15 minutes daily, which is more than is required by the State Department for an alternative program. The state only requires 4 hours and 15 minutes. Our Teen Pep currently has 13 students, which is lower than what we've had in past years. They had 11 graduates last year. They've had 1 graduate to date, and they also attend 5 hours and 15 minutes. We increased them an hour last year, so they were just going the 4 hours and 15 minutes, and we believe it's really helped. And we feel like that's the reason we've had an increase in graduates from that program, is because they were attending an hour longer a day, and they were able to work on their courses longer periods of the day. Any questions? We use Edgenuity, which is an online program with 50 course options. We also use Edgenuity at the high school for credit recovery. This is a self-paced program which allows the students to work at their own rate. We also have our math and English courses at Wildcat Academy are taught by the teachers, so it's not an online course. And English is taught by the teacher at Teen Pep. They also, this year, have made some changes in their math courses, and the students are working together with the math courses. They are projecting the E2020 courses on the Promethean board, and so they're working through these, discussing them. The teacher has we have a volunteer that is helping her with the math as well, so we're seen lots of improvements in our Teen Pep program as far as math is concerned. And the positive thing about Edgenuity is it allows the students to earn multiple credits within a year, so they're not just tied to the 6 credits per semester. They can earn more the faster they work and complete the course, and the more courses that they can complete. Questions? We have partnerships with several agencies for our alternative programs. We have a partnership with the Department of Health, Ponca City Leadership Alumni. We have PI partners for both Teen Pep and for Wildcat Academy. The NOC nursing students work with our teen moms we also have efforts with Northern Oklahoma Youth Services. The PI partner for Wildcat Academy is Edward Jones and Quality Inn. And we also have the Oklahoma Regional Food Bank that services food for our students that need some additional support as far as food goes. We have several of these students that are on their own. They may be sharing an apartment with someone, or they may actually just be sleeping wherever they can sleep for the night. So, we're able to supply them with free food. Each year, our alternative programs are evaluated by OTAC. And as you can see, we have received high marks. Last year, the deficit was in counseling. And this year, Wildcat Academy received an effective score on counseling. And our teen PEP is minimally compliant. And the reason they are minimally compliant is we don't have someone who is there on a weekly basis with those girls. So they receive some counseling through noise, but we don't have an on-site counselor that visits there every week. And we do have that currently at Wildcat Academy. And really our counselors are spread thin, so it's not something that we have, that we are failing to provide for the students. Really, it's kind of a lack of resource that we have. But they do have access, but just not on a weekly basis to counselors. That's the end. Any questions? Our alternative programs are very successful at this point, and it's due to the hard work of our teachers and our director, Carla Streeter. So.
She's very good.
She is very good. She's doing a great job.
Yes, she is. Okay. All right. Next on the agenda, number 5.1, the superintendent's report.
One more report. Number 4.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
4.6, Brett's been waiting here.
4.6.
I've been waiting patiently to get through all
Annual
this stuff.
safety
You can get
report.
one more report.
The annual safety report.
All right, so every year y'all get to hear what we do with safety, and you're pretty familiar with most of it. But we have an annual report that's based on our action plan. Our action plan is actually in writing. It's a big 3-wing binder, and I brought it in before, and it has a listing of every one of our events that we could possibly have, like a tornado or a fire or an earthquake or a flood or electrical outage or a student disappearing and so forth, and what we do sequentially at each site. And every site's got that particular plan. So they can take it out, they can take it to their safety committees, and then they can practice these events. Objective, the goal of this presentation is to inform the Board of Education and to the public about our plan to protect students and staff in the event of an emergency. So this plan that we have is not just for students, but for the large part it's for the adults and the teachers and the staff members. They need to learn this and learn how to do it so they can protect the students. The outcome, the Ponca City Schools understands there's an ever-changing circumstances involving emergency preparedness. And we must strive to update and improve our emergency plans on a continual basis so our staff can facilitate student learning in a safe environment. To give you an example, this week we've got an exercise in conjunction with Phillips 66 in the city of Ponca City and some of the county areas. Don is usually involved in some of those because of his position at the airport. And so we're doing some practicing and an exercise, just a tabletop. We're not going to do anything that's going to get out in the airwaves. But we get the chance to practice those all the time. If something happens at P66 or at the city or the county, tornadoes, earthquakes, whatever, we're all involved in the whole process. So we need to learn to be in that process. In the agenda, the overview for our documentation, we have to document all of these activities. We document those plans, the procedures, the reports, the drill times, the days, and then report those to the OSSI, and I'll get to that in a minute on what that is. Plans and procedures we demonstrate to regulatory agencies. such as Department of Labor or workers' compensation or our property insurance carriers. They're all very interested in how safe we are, either whether it's our building or it's our personal safety. Our processes, we have updates. We update as much as we possibly can. You understand, every time that there's something that happens in the United States or around the world, we get to change things because they take what they find in an event, such as a school shooting or an earthquake, and they study it and they come up with different plans and procedures of how to deal with it. And we have to conform or at least go that direction on their recommendations. We have safe school committees. This by law we have to have in every school. You've got 2 parents, 2 students, 2 teachers, and the principal at a minimum on every one of these safe school committees. They do what they do within their school, at their site. So everything can be a little bit different, but they have a framework, and the framework is in that 3-ring binder that I mentioned to you earlier. So they've got a framework that they can go by, but still their buildings are different from Lincoln to Washington to the high school. So they've got some of their own protocols. And those safe school committees work a lot of different good ideas, not just on maybe advising of drills or something of that nature, but bullying intervention, suicide prevention, say something curriculum. They all get involved with all of that. And then, of course, the drills and exercises, that include the things that the state wants us to do and the stuff that we do with the county and P66, like I mentioned before, and the support services, the OSSI, State of Oklahoma, and the Homeland Security. And then, of course, capital improvements, remembering that we do those safe entrances, bullet-resistant glass. We try to minimize what we call hidey holes, when you've got little nooks and crannies in hallways. So if you have an unwanted intruder and the police are looking down a hallway and we don't have all those nooks and crannies for people to hide, that's a good safety measure. Our safety action plan, we've got a goal. So our goal is to clearly establish an authority and responsibility, administrative actions because of disasters, emergencies, and inclement weather or other reasons to close or evacuate, to cancel school, delay school, maybe provide care or shelter, change bus schedules, and we also assist our authorities in the event those things happen. So like I say, who's involved? We got administration that's involved, we got the city, we got the state, emergency managers, federal government. They provide and they implement and they plan and they protect for students and staff. All of those folks that help us on a daily basis in the event that there's going to be some sort of an event. Tornadoes is a good one because we get to watching the times of year that those happen, and they all get involved to help us. With storm spotters, volunteers are out there, the National Weather Service, the Red Cross. We're all partners in all of this. And our reporting, well, let's go back to the ever-changing methodologies. I'll go right back to that again. We had a school shooting at Sandy Hook. I know we're all familiar with that, but because of what happened, that prompted us to do some of this capital improvements and build safe entrances with bullet-resistant glass. That's where that came from. So there's always something that's going to happen. Our updates, annual updates for our safety action plan books, we have to update those each and every year. And when we update those, we have to send a copy to every one of our reporting agencies. Our police, fire, county, and city governments have to have a copy of those. We make them sign off, says they've got a copy, because then we get audited by it through North Central accreditation as well as through the state. And then I give you an annual update. It is required by law, and then our new research and ideologies also would be within those updates as we come through. There's our safe school committees with our principals and teachers. Drills and exercises, the state requires 10. That changes, seems to change a lot with how they want to name these drills. We used to have drills with an unwanted intruder or a incident command, excuse me, I lost the name of it. Unwanted intruders was part of that drill, but now they call them security drills. And we have 4 of those, 2 each semester. So they just kind of went away with an unwanted intruder. Here's the information on those support services that we have. The Oklahoma School Safety Institute, it was established by the state in 2013. It gives us direction, support, training, and oversight. Our drills that we do in every one of our schools have a form that they've given us. We've used our own for years, but we're using theirs now, and we report it directly to them. It has to be reported. And then our accreditation audit also takes a look at it and makes sure that we've done those. Fire drills are not required to be reported. It's a state law we do those, but we report them anyway. Office of Homeland Security oversees that Oklahoma School Safety Institute and just gives them additional support. And of course, the state of Oklahoma with all their rules and regulations. And they've been doing requirements for schools since the beginning of time for safety and those kinds of things. And then we've got our local support. Kane County Health Department has been very integral in a lot of the things that we do in the community and through the schools for safety. Kinds of emergencies. Fire, tornadoes, security drills, that's your lockdowns, intruder drills. Lockdowns, what I couldn't remember a while ago. Bus evacuations, we're required to do that each year. Randy has a lot of fun with those. And then we have to have some other kind of a drill. And they get to choose what those want to be. They can go back and do other drills again if they want to, but they can figure out something else. One of those is an earthquake drill. Earthquake, they do a national central United States earthquake drill, and they do that all over this region, and we generally participate in that. So it happens at a certain time, like 10 a.m. in the morning on one certain day, and everybody does it in the entire region. And then, of course, I said the same requirements on North Central accreditation. We have crisis teams, and they're utilized mostly through the counseling services, and they generally deal with a sudden death of a student or a staff member, some sort of trauma, maybe a suicide prevention. So they're very integral when something like that happens because it's hard to deal with. There's a lot of nuances when it comes to that. And then building emergencies. If we have a gas leak or a building collapse, then we may have to evacuate the buildings, or we may have to shelter in place. If we have an incident at P66 and they've got a leak, then we may shelter in place because it's safer to be inside and turn off all the air conditioning and air and ventilation than it is to go outside. So that's another decision we may have to make. Depends on what information that we get from our supporters. Student runaway abductions, bomb threats, all different kinds of different emergencies that we may have to deal with that's in that safety plan. Our capital improvements, our building renovations, safety entry vestibules that I mentioned, lobby guards, those things have come in real handy to vet people before they come in the buildings. Auto locking doors, blind hallways and recessed areas, try to limit those as much as possible, and bullet resistant glass. Now we're required to have training. Our quarterly training for our maintenance custodial staff, this is just a partial list: lockout, tagout, lifting, back injury prevention, forklift, fire extinguisher. They have a host of other things that they can do, and we can do whatever we deem is necessary, but they have to do that quarterly. And then all staff get a bloodborne pathogen, AIDS awareness, maybe CPR if they so choose to, but every site must have at least 2 people that have a CPR AED training, certification training at each site. One has to be a certified person, the other one would be a support. You can have more than that, but a minimum of 2. Asbestos awareness, believe it or not, we still have asbestos in the building, but nobody can get to it. It's maybe in the walls or in the ceilings. There's flooring, but it's not deemed friable. It's perfectly safe, so we don't worry about it too much, but most of it's covered up or gone. We've done a good job of it. And then our hazardous communications, it used to be a material safety data sheet, told you what the materials were and gave you all the information on a chemical, fire, all those good things. Now they've changed it to a global harmonizing system, so it's a safety data sheet, and it has the same information on it, and they use pictograms, and it's globalized, so they're using it throughout the world. So we've all just joined in that program. And sexual harassment. Teaching, training, working, learning, do our best so students can do theirs is the mantra for this. And if you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer those. And you can, if you'd like to, you can come see that safety plan and see what all we've got in it.
Find out who started the fire?
I have not found that out yet. They thought they had a couple good leads. They turned out to be, kids were not even near the third floor, so they're still looking. We need to catch him.
How much damage did it do?
You know, I don't
financially?
have a financial number yet. I'm supposed to get that by tomorrow, based on the ServPro who came to help us dry those out because the ceilings were coming down. So I should have more information for you. Our insurance company did come take a look at it, and they've not given us anything either, so we're waiting. I'll get you that as soon as I get it.
Okay, thank you, Brett.
You're welcome.
Number 5, Superintendent Report, 5.1, Annual Developmental Education Rates for 2014-2015.
This is, used to be called the remediation report for colleges and universities. We're required to do this every year. This is for the class of 2014, so these were students who were freshmen in their 2014-15 school year, freshmen in college, all right? So the rate for the class of 2014, 2.4% of our graduates were required to take a developmental class in science, 7.1 in English, 26.2 in math, 14.3 in reading. Our unduplicated developmental rate was 29.4%. So what does that mean? All right. The state average was 40.1%. Here are, and I just picked the teams we played football against this year to give you a comparison. For the Edmond Public Schools, it was 19.9% of their graduating class of 2014. They don't break it out. They don't break this out by individual school site. They just give school district. For the Enid Public Schools, it was 37.2. Guthrie, 43.9. Bartlesville, 20.7. Sapulpa, 31.4. Bixby, 40.7. Muskogee, 50.9%. Tulsa, Washington, or Tulsa Public Schools, 57.5%. So what gets you in a developmental class? If your ACT sub-score is less than 19, then you're required to take a developmental class in that area. So we have a science ACT score, a language arts ACT score, a reading ACT score, and a math ACT score. So if you score less than a 19, regardless of what your overall ACT score is, you're required to take a developmental course in that subject. And that cut score is set by the Oklahoma Board of Regents. Anybody have any questions? Math continues to be, not only for our students, but across the state of Oklahoma, math continues to be the area where most students have to be remediated. Okay.
Okay. Number 6, the consent calendar. This includes 6.1, agenda with commentary, 6.2, minutes, and 6.3, consent agenda agreements under $10,000. Do I have a motion to
Yeah, we
approve?
discussed these. I'll move to approve it. We discussed them in the Finance Committee.
Okay.
I'll
So-
second it.
All right. So Robin made the motion, David seconded it. Are there any questions? Okay, let's vote.
Dr. Kincaid,
Aye.
Mr. Newsom,
Aye.
Mr. Riley,
Aye.
Mrs. Troop,
Aye.
Mr. Clark.
Aye.
Okay, number 7, consideration of and vote to approve or not approve the following items. The consideration of and vote to approve the following. District financial reports, that's what this is. Talks about some child nutrition, some bonds, and some activity fund request, raffle request, and fundraiser request. Okay, do I have a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve 7.1.
Okay,
Second.
Don made the motion and Robin seconded it. Are there any questions? Okay,
Mr. Newsom,
Aye.
Mr. Riley,
Aye.
Mrs. Troop,
aye.
Mr. Clark,
Aye.
Dr. Kincaid.
Aye.
Okay, number 7.2, consideration of and vote to approve or not approve setting the date, time, and location for the 2017 board meetings.
Move for approval.
Second.
Okay. Don made the motion for the board meetings, the 2017 board meetings, and Marvin seconded it. Do we have any questions? Okay.
Mr. Riley?
Aye.
Mrs. Troop?
Aye.
Mr. Clark?
Aye.
Dr. Kincaid?
Aye.
Mr. Newsom?
Aye.
7.3, consideration of a vote to approve or not approve the 2016-2017 Ponca City Public Schools District and Site Improvement Title I plans. Do I have a motion? I think, Betty, didn't you have some discs for everybody to pick up? Isn't this what you had the disc for? Okay.
Well, since I actually opened my desk and read it, I'll move to approve it.
Oh, well, okay.
A second.
Robin voted to approve the district site improvement plans.
I'll second it.
Oh, well, Dawn, haven't you already seconded it?
Yes, I did.
I'm sorry, Don.
So that's okay. If there's not, are there any questions? Okay.
Mrs. Troop?
Aye.
Mr. Clark?
Aye.
Dr. Kincaid?
Aye.
Mr. Newsom?
Aye.
Mr. Riley?
Aye.
Okay, 7.4, consideration of and vote to approve or not approve accepting subcontract bids for the new press box project at Sullen Stadium.
Make a motion to approve 7.4.
Do I have a second?
Read.
I'll second it, but I do have a question.
Okay. You second, did I have a motion? Don
Don.
motioned it, made the motion to accept the bid, and Robin seconded it, and you have a question?
Yes. Obviously, I'd be remiss to say that I'm not disappointed in our $1 million budget becoming a $1.6 million project, that things just happen. But the question of either Brett or Rick Scott Construction, you talk about value engineering. Do you have any kind of estimate for how much we're looking for?
Yeah, during the property committee on Tuesday, there were several items that were presented to the property committee for value engineering items. I believe that there were several items totaling around, I believe the total may have been $68,000. That list is not a total complete list, as there are still three pretty large bid packages that we are rebidding. And that full comprehensive list will be able to, at the next property committee review.
So optimistically, probably 100,000 is about the best we could even think about.
If you choose to, yeah, we'll bring that list to you, and then you can pick and choose if you want to take those or not.
Still pissed off about it.
Are there any other questions? Okay, roll call.
Mr. Clark?
Aye.
Dr. Kincaid?
Aye.
Mr. Newsom?
Aye.
Mr. Riley?
Aye.
Mrs. Troop?
Aye. 7.5, agreement with Ardor Health Solutions for Heather Wilson to provide speech and language services for the 2016-2017 school year. Do I have a motion?
Go ahead and go to B and C.
Pardon?
You gotta go A, B, C, D.
You can do all of them.
Oh, okay. I'll read the other. I'll read B. Agreement with High-Tech Tronics Communication Systems for security cameras at the Ponca City High School, Robinson Fieldhouse, West Middle School, and Woodlands Elementary. C, agreement with SHI for renewal of Microsoft licensing for the district. That's all. Okay. Do I have a motion for these three agreements?
I move, I got a question, so let's get a second.
Okay. Do I have a second? Okay,
Hey,
David.
Brett,
David.
There's areas, at the high school we've never been able to figure out weren't covered. Is this stopping that?
No, not necessarily. These were scheduled to be put in prior to this last incident. But these will solve some of the problems, but not all of them. It's tough to have every spot covered. A lot of the things that we're doing with this particular number of places all over the district, we've had these cameras for a long time, and some of them are finally starting to go out.
Okay.
It seems like it's kind of got a domino effect, so we're just
It
trying to
doesn't cover
replace
the
them.
football field good yet?
No, it does not, but with this press box, it will, because with the press box, we're putting cameras on it to cover the football field.
Okay, I have a question. You put Woodlands Elementary, or the other elementaries, do they have cameras?
Every place has cameras. These
Oh,
are some
okay.
that went bad, we're replacing.
I see, okay. All right. We've had a motion and a second, and we can, any more questions? Okay, we can vote.
Dr. Kincaid?
Aye.
Mr. Newsom?
Aye.
Mr. Riley?
Aye.
Mrs. Troop?
Aye.
Mr. Clark?
Okay. Do we want an executive session?
We need a short one.
Okay. 7.6, consideration of a vote to approve or not approve a proposed executive session for the following purposes: to discuss the possible termination, reassignment, resignation, and employment of personnel on the attached detailed personnel report; to discuss confidential conversations with the board's attorney concerning pending claims and litigation; to discuss the purchase or appraisal of real property, and to negotiations.
Motion to approve executive session.
Okay, let's vote.
Mr. Newsom?
Aye.
Mr. Riley?
Aye.
Mrs. Troop?
Aye.
Mr. Clark?
Aye.
Dr. Kincaid?
Okay. We're in executive session. Turn to open session. Number 7.8, recital by board president that minutes of executive session were kept by the board minutes clerk and will remain confidential. 7.9, vote to approve or not approve recommendations for termination, reassignment, resignation, and employment of personnel shown on the attached detailed personnel report. Do I have a motion?
Move approval.
Second.
Any questions? Okay,
Mr. Riley?
Aye.
Mrs. Troop?
aye.
Mr. Clark?
Aye.
Dr. Kincaid? Mr. Newsom?
Aye.
Number 8, new business. Do we have any new business? Okay. Number 9, adjournment. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
That's so moved.
Do I have a second?
We like it here. Second.
Okay. Okay. All those, do we have to do it individually? No. All those in favor of adjourning?
Aye.
Aye.
I don't know who that is.
All those in favor of adjourning?
Aye. Brett left
Hey,
this here. It's not
We're
Remember, when you go out tonight,